Hello and welcome to the channel. If you haven't done so already, make sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate every single one of you guys for subbing to the channel and watching the content. I appreciate it so much. So let's go ahead and talk about this. This is very interesting to me because the fact that a movie has decent rating, not the best, it's not 100% fresh according to Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 78 from the tomato meter and 85% of the audience score. Yet it still flopped. Now, how bad did it flop? That's a question you might be wondering. How bad is it? Well, my dear friends, I will show you. But this number is, I don't know how accurate this is. So, budget was 200 million. I don't know if it's true or not. And box office, $152 million. It's still getting its ass whooped from Top Gun, which I sad to admit that I am going to be seeing it again for the fourth time since they brought it back to IMAX and they put it back in 40X. I'm definitely going to see it again. I'm going to see it again this week, maybe twice. That's the perk of having the movie pass. Alrighty. So the reason is it's not the fact that it's banned in most Muslim countries like Indonesia, Oman, Qatar, Egypt, Saudi Arabia. Those are just some of the countries that they're banned from. About 14 or so, if not more, countries that Buzz Lightyear is banned because of the same-sex kissing scene in the movie. Now, for me, I have no problem with any of that stuff in movies, whatever, as long as it makes sense to me. That's all that matters. As long as it makes sense with the plot and it's not being forced, then I don't have any problem with that. But it seems like Disney has been pushing that narrative that they want to put that in every single movie, TV shows. Is it because they want to be inclusive, or is it just because they're just trying to please everybody? And that's pretty much it. To me, it just seems like they're just trying to please everybody. Unfortunately, this is something you have to learn, Disney. You're not going to please everybody. You're going to piss some people off, or you're going to make people upset. So stop trying to push these narratives. Just make a great story, make a good movie that makes sense. And if it includes trans, if it includes LGBT, any LGBTQ, if it includes that, that's fine. I don't care. It makes no difference. As long as it makes sense in the story, I don't give a shit what you put in the movie. You know what I mean? As long as it's good, solid script, story makes sense, everything, good. I'm good. But who knows? Why did it flop? Lightyear flop is a sign audiences are weary of Hollywood wokeness. And Netflix also canceled a bunch of their shows that's kind of like that are aimed towards woke crowd, I guess. You know, I'm not sure why they did it. Maybe because they see a sign that it's on the out. Just what I can say to any of these big companies, Disney, Pixar or Marvel or whatever, any of those, IPs, um, just make a good story. Make it make sense. That's it. That's all we want. Well, at least that's what I want. I'm not very picky. But Buzz Lightyear is not doing very well, even comparing to um, Top Gun, which came out almost a month ago. I think it came out May 27. It's been a month and it already raked over $1 billion, which is just insane. While Lightyear flopped, Tom Cruise's new Top Gun Maverick has soared to nearly 1 billion in ticket sales, the biggest haul of Cruise's career. And that's why I'm gonna go see it again because it's a hell of a movie. It didn't push any kind of narrative. I kind of do miss some of the gay stuff, like on the first movie. I kind of miss that little. Uh it wasn't gay enough for me, but that's all right. It's still solid. uh okay, moving on. While Disney much touted Lightyear came out and did surprisingly poor after a lot of week of release talk about the lesbian relationship in the film, the same-sex marriage is a small part of the story and no one should be bothered by existence of gay people. Even in kids movie, but the shocking underperformance must have Disney wondering whether people stayed away because they thought, even if mistakenly, the Lightyear was a message movie. I didn't think so. From what I saw, Um, it was just such a small part. You get to see that relationship evolve while every time that he goes around and out in space or does, the jump, he misses about what, 4 years, and you get to see the relationship with how it evolves and how her kids get older and older and stuff like that. So to me, it it was okay. It's not really the best movie I've seen so far. Coming out of Pixar, I still love my Cars movie because I'm a huge car fan. Disney's decision to spend a couple of minutes of screen time reminding us that it's a gay-friendly company may well have costed millions in ticket sales for what is supposed to be an annual Pixar mega blockbuster. Disney has to consider the idea that there might be many Pixar fans who have no problem with gay marriage, who nevertheless would prefer the matter to be left out of kids' movie. Disney also chose a side in Florida dispute about teaching sexual orientation to little kids, and it may have damaged one of the world's most valuable brands. Oof. So, they're not doing themselves favor with this stuff here. But it's interesting. It's should to me it all this stuff just has what does that have to do with education? What are you teaching the little kids about gen why? It doesn't need to. Let them discover for themselves as they get older. You decide on what you want to be, or who you are as you get older and older and you mature. You decide that. But don't force it or teach it to kids, then their level of thinking gets altered in some way. But because kids' brains when they're younger, it's still meshed, so they kind of like grab all the information that they get from whoever is teaching them. Could be teacher, parents. I think anything that has to do with any kind of sexual orientation or whatever, it has nothing to do with school. It should be the parents' responsibility to teach the kids on how they, move around this challenging world. And or should I say, a better way to say it is um, ever evolving world. That's a nice way to put it. Um, But I kind of agree, Disney has been pushing that narrative for a while now. In the weeks before its release, Lightyear received lots of attention to brief lesbian subplot that likely led many moviegoers to mistake it as a message film, which it wasn't. It was not a message film. The cut coincidence of a popular writer who doesn't care about sending a message was swiped with a criticism when he suggested that white male writers in Hollywood are victims of just another form of racism. That sounds dumb on the surface, but every producer in Hollywood loudly proclaim his commitment to inclusivity, which is another way of saying he's desperate to hire people other than non-handicapped straight white males. TV networks are proudly announcing new requirements that for instance, CBS, at least 50% of the staff writers being members of minority groups once hired. Such staffers often push for stories about pressing social problems. But that's true though. If you hire somebody that's from a different background, they're gonna have different perspective than you are because they grew up differently. So they would want to push for a story that's kind of like closer to what their background is, sort of. You know. So if you hire an LGBTQ person or people, when you hire them, they're going to be pushing certain narratives. You get what I'm saying? But whether it's good or bad, who knows? For me, I don't care. You can hire whoever you want. For me, solid story. Doesn't matter who's in it. Don't care. As long as the story's good, it makes sense. I don't care. Anyways, moving on. Um, I'm not a lot of meeting. I'm in a lot of meeting now where people tell me will never get on because it's not woke enough. Observes Egyptian-born British comedy writer Asha Atala. Polling shows TV producers much more interested in foregrounding issues such as transgender rights than the British public, which is notably more PC than we Americans are. In the US, a poll focusing on the entertainment industry found that 65% agree that corporate wokeness has gone too far. Go woke, get broke, son. We've seen that happen before. Hulu's show. What? hold on, I'll get that title for you guys. Yeah, here it is. It's called The Last Man. Why The Last Man? And the reason it was canceled because the ratings really went on a steep decline. So, yeah. And I think Netflix also like canceled some of their other shows too that were woke sort of oriented, but they canceled some of those because make it make sense. That's all I want. I don't care what you put in it. Solid story. I don't know how many times I gotta reiterate that because I don't want any of you guys coming after me saying I'm this and I'm that. I don't have a problem with any LGBTQ community. I don't, you do your thing. I think that what people do in their homes is their business and it's none of mine. Let people have their rights and do whatever they want to. They want to get married? Let them get married. To me, it doesn't bother me. You live your life. That's the way I feel. And just for all these Hollywood stuff, just stop pushing that certain narratives. Just make us a good story so that we can enjoy and be entertained. That's all we want. All right. Anyway, sorry for taking up so much of your time. It's just an interesting subject to talk about. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to like and subscribe and have a good one.